What is going on, guys? Back with another episode of the Baseball Prospect Card Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite pitchers in the minors, and that's going to be Jackson Baumeister. Originally a second-round pick by the Orioles in the 23 draft, but then traded at the deadline last year for Zach Eflin. Currently, right now, I think he's about 18 to that 20 mark prospect range in the Rays system now. MLB Pipeline hasn't updated their top 30s yet, and that's what he was about before the last update. So I think the newest update will come here in the next couple weeks. Last year he was very, very solid, much better with the Rays in a shorter stint than he was with the O's. He's hasn't pitched above A ball or A+ ball yet. In Aberdeen, he pitched to a 3.06 in 18 starts, and that turned out to be about 70 2/3 innings. And the one thing between his Orioles stint at Aberdeen versus his stint with Bowling Green in the A+ ball for the Rays was his strikeout to walk percentage. In that 70 2/3 innings, he had 43 walks to 91 strikeouts. So what he was giving up a good bit of free passes through those 70 innings versus his shorter stint, 29 innings exactly for the Bowling Green. He only gave up 5 walks, but had 44 strikeouts. So the Rays got right to him immediately and got down to that control effortlessly. And what I do like about him is his strikeout stuff. I mean, that strikeout stuff is phenomenal. I mean, he has, right now, his current scouting grades have him at about a 60 fastball, 55 curveball, 50 slider, 45 changeup, so 4-pitch mix. His fastball is probably his best pitch, but his curveball is his best put-away pitch, his best strikeout pitch. It's phenomenal. It's 2,100 RPM. I mean, it's absolutely filthy. His fastball is the one pitch that, in my opinion, watching a lot of his tape, is something that does get away from him a little bit. It's not a super high-velocity fastball. I think he tops out around 93 to 95, can sometimes pull that 97 out of his back pocket. But that's the one pitch the Rays are probably going to put a little bit more emphasis on. That and probably his changeup. The Rays do really love their guys their system is a lot of focusing on the changeup. Good strikeout pitch, good ground ball pitch to get guys out. And that is something I do feel like they're probably going to put a lot of emphasis on this year, especially for his development. But between that strikeout to walk, the big thing that I look out for is his guys' whips, especially for pitchers. How many big guys on base are you guys giving up every single start or every single time they go out on the mound? His whip with the Orioles was about 1.36 versus a 0.59 when he got traded to the Rays. So the Rays got in there and got after it real quick. They're like, okay, you have nasty stuff, but we need to make sure we're getting into the zone. You need to make sure you're getting guys out, right? I mean, it is a smaller sample size, of course. But the Rays get a lot out of their pitchers, and that is one thing that the Rays are really good at developing pitchers. And it sucks he's not an O anymore. I was hoping he was going to be an O here someday because I did watch him at Florida State, and he was very, very good. Didn't pitch a whole lot of innings for Florida State. He only pitched about 98. And then last year in total, he only pitched 99. So he doesn't have a whole lot of innings these past couple years. A little over 180. So we're close to, almost 200. So he doesn't have a whole lot of innings that you can watch. So it's the stuff you got to look out for. I don't see him as probably a 1 to 2 pitcher. He's probably a mid 3 to 5 guy. I'd say probably a back end starter, maybe long reliever. But we'll see, because next year he'll probably start the year in AA would be my guess. We'll see what happens, right? We'll get some to his card prices, which are actually very cheap for what I think is pretty solid production. And just looking at eBay, his base chrome autos are about $6. It's very low risk, for other stuff like that. I mean, you can get the Aqua Lavas at a $199 or for about $130, not $130, $30. Base chromes anywhere from $6 to $10. You can get some PSA graded, and there's an orange up. But for me, that's pretty solid value. I know a lot of people in this hobby are against buying pitchers, but then again, he's on a smaller market team too, which I don't think will help super long term. It'll be one of those things, if he gets the call here in the next year or two, his card prices will jump up then, and that'll probably be that, right? Unless he becomes a Cy Young pitcher, which right now I really don't see it, especially with the walk numbers and not having a whole lot of innings to look at. Obviously, this is speculation. Just same thing with all these pitchers. It's purely speculation. No arm injuries as of yet, but I think that's a good thing because he doesn't throw very hard, and a lot of the guys nowadays throwing hard are the ones that are getting the Tommy John. So I don't think there's a whole lot of risk there. But then again, yeah, a guy that's $6 for a base chrome auto seems like a no-brainer to me, especially if you're playing a shorter term. Buying for the quick flip is what I think Jackson is. But very underrated guy, in my opinion. Obviously not a top 100. I don't think he'll ever be a top 100 unless he absolutely just completely explodes this year, which I could see happening. The Rays are, like I said, a very good team at developing pitchers, especially stealing guys from other teams, and they're in that rebuilding phase, so they'll be throwing all their resources into all their guys, and they're going to kick the rocks and see how these guys do. And this is a guy I see making their team in a year or two. I don't think he makes it this year unless, like I said, he explodes. But the numbers look really good. The strikeout numbers are a big positive, and that's something to really look out for in these guys. High strikeout rates, but the one concern is obviously a lot of walks given up, the control issues. It was the same thing in college. He had a big strikeout to walk ratio. He was giving up a ton of walks. I mean, his fastball does get away from him, which is okay, but they need to work on hitting that zone a little bit more, but we will see. But this is a guy I'm still buying to this day. I consider buying his stuff all the time. I just bought a purple auto the other day for about $10. He's so cheap, and I don't usually like giving away my secrets, but this is a guy I do really believe in, and I do believe that he'll be making the league here soon. But that'll be it for this episode. If you guys like, please share, like, and subscribe. Drop some comments if you want to talk about anybody else, anyone that you want me to talk about. Please feel free to let me know. Stay tuned for the next episode, guys. We got another one coming here soon.